worried at all, other teams that have been trying to repeat? Obviously, you guys were one of those teams, but just pinpointed maybe the difficulty of it beyond just it being hard to win in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily study other teams. Try to learn from what we did last time when we were trying to repeat, obviously getting to the Super Bowl and losing. But just trying to learn from that stuff, take the positives, and learn from what we didn't do to get us that second championship in that year. So definitely looking at that, but not necessarily other teams.
What have you learned from that?
Yeah, I think just not being satisfied with getting wins or having some early success. You have to keep building. I think you learn that a lot in the NFL is you might have a great start to the season, but as the season goes on, you have to keep building or other teams are going to catch you, and you want to be the best team at the end of the season just as much as you want to be the best team at the beginning.
If you remember this time last year, you were talking about the wide receivers, and you said, hey, fantasy players are going to hate us because there's going to be a different guy each week. How do you feel, looking at this year's group, how do you feel about that? I mean, you ready to say that kind of thing again about this year's group?
Yeah, I mean, you just add 2 more receivers to it. We have a lot of talented receivers. A lot of them can do a lot of things, and we're going to try to use that to our advantage, moving guys around, giving guys the opportunity to make plays. And that receiving room's taking pride with being a room that can go out there and excel no matter who is the guy getting the football.
Patrick, Coach said that Kadarius has practiced over the last couple days. I just wonder from your perspective how he looks and how much of it is a positive that he could be available for Thursday's game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a positive. I mean, the talent that he has, the competitor that he is, to be able to go out there and have that weapon, it would definitely be a huge positive. He's done a great job in the practices that he's been in so far, and I'm looking forward to him continue to step up and be even better and be more like his normal self, which, I mean, honestly, going out there the first day and first few days and seeing him, he looks like KT, and so I'm excited for that. He put a lot of time in that rehab process so that he can get himself ready, hopefully, to play in this first week.
Patrick, when you look at what Detroit brings defensively, coming off of last year, and then what they've garnered over the off season, what challenges have you seen on film that they present to you often?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing is they play hard. Like, they play hard the entire game. No matter if it's a good play, bad play, they're going to come back that next snap and play extremely hard. And then they do a lot of great stuff scheme-wise. They had a lot of young guys playing last year. You could see even throughout the season how they grew and got better and better. And then they added talent. I mean, they added Sutton from the Steelers. They had Gardner Johnson. Obviously, I've played him a couple times. Great football player. And so they've added talent with young guys and veterans, and they play hard and they got better even last year. So we know it's gonna be a heck of a football game, and if we don't play our best football, we're not gonna go out there and win.
Watching training camp and preseason practice, it seems like you have a boosted rapport with Sky. Just year to year, where have you seen him maybe grow and that you didn't see him as a rookie last year?
Yeah, I think he just got more comfortable within the offense. It's a hard offense to learn. We threw a lot at him. We wanted it because he had to play a lot of different spots last year, and I thought he got more and more comfortable as the season went on. And then obviously coming into the OTAs and into training camp, it was even at another level. And so I'm excited for him to showcase kind of where he's at. I mean, he's always been talented, but how comfortable he is within the offense, getting more opportunity. I'm excited for him to go out there and show everybody kind of what I've been seeing.
What stands out when you see Jared Goff's tape?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great football player. I mean, no matter if it was at the Rams or last year with the Lions, I mean, he's always put up stats. He's always won games, and that takes something. I mean, be able to win a game whenever everything might not be going perfect, you have to have something inside of you that says, like, I can go out there and find a way to win, and he's done that his entire career. Obviously, talented thrower, big guy that can go around and make a lot of big-time throws, but he's won everywhere he's been, so I know it's going to be a great challenge for us.
What do you remember from that Rams-Chiefs, the 50-point game going back and forth? Any memories from that one?
Yeah, like I said, it was another game where, I mean, even though there's a lot of points scored, not everything went great for either side of the ball, and we all battled, and they ended up coming out on top. And so what I remember is I think I had like 4 or 5 turnovers. So I had 2 fumbles, 3 picks. So that's what I remember from that game. Everybody talks about the numbers and the stats, but that's what kind of lost the game. So that'll stick with me for a while.
Patrick, you've been doing this for a while. How difficult is it to prepare for week 1? Because I'm sure you can go back and study last year's tape, but do you see a lot more wrinkles week 1, week 2 that are a little harder to prepare for since you don't know what they've worked on the offseason?
Yeah, I think especially with this coordinator, with Glenn, I mean, he does a lot of different stuff. He's very game plan specific. So even throughout the season, it would be a little bit more wrinkles and stuff like that. But you can tell when he has time to study the team. He has a good job of scheming them up and putting out different coverages that he might not have shown before, but he thinks will work against the team he's playing. And so we have to have a good understanding of that. Obviously, we want to start fast, but being able to recognize the wrinkles as fast as we can on the sideline, make those adjustments, and continue to play. I mean, it's going to be a fight. And I've said that to all the guys is that this team's coming in and they expect to win and we expect to win. So that's when you get the great football games.
Detroit's defensive line with Hutchinson there, how have you seen him progress from his last year's tape to now, and how much of a threat that defensive line is? Because you guys face a lot of defensive lines, knowing that you got a new offensive line there too.
Yeah, no. I think that he was one of the guys I was talking about. You could see at the beginning of the year, he played hard. He was trying to figure everything out, but as the season went on, he really kind of started to come into his own. And so he's a great football player. The reason he was drafted where he was drafted and the reason he had success in college where he did, I mean, he's a great football player, has the physical talent, but also a smart football player. I mean, he has 3 interceptions last year, so he can do a little bit of everything. And so we have to account for him every snap because he's a game changer type of player, and we can't let him affect the game on some of those big moments.
And live bullets now, your offensive line, especially with the tackles, how your confidence level has to be pretty high after that preseason where you didn't get touched. So what do you feel like going into a regular season game?
Yeah, no, I'm always confident in my guys, offensive line, everybody. I'm confident in them, and I know they've been working their tail off, and they're excited to showcase what they have and what they've been doing. And so I think it's just taking that next step. Obviously, preseason is one thing, but taking that next step into the regular season will be big. And it's not always going to be perfect, but how are you going to battle throughout the entire game to find a way to win?
Last year, you and Marquez didn't really have the connection early on. It wasn't until later in the season, especially the playoffs. How confident are you all that in the two of you all's connection starting the season off?
Yeah, I think you saw kind of similar to Sky as the season went on. I mean, we were always kind of having some success, but we missed a couple of shots here and there. But as the season went on, we started to hit those shots, and I think it just continued through OTAs and through training camp. And that just comes with the quarterback-receiver relationship. I mean, he knows where I want him to be, and I know what he's great at and how I can excel on that. And so that just comes with time and reps. And so I'm excited to kind of showcase that in Thursday. I mean, and the rest of the season is that we've kind of worked on that type of stuff, and hopefully we can hit those ones that we missed at the beginning of last year.
And Patrick, you said a couple weeks ago you didn't anticipate the Chris Jones thing getting to this point. Just what are your thoughts now that it looks like you're prepared for week 1 without him?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of just prepare to play the game with the guys that are in the building, and let the front office and stuff handle that. Yeah, we got a tough test with the Detroit Lions, and we're going to try to focus on how we can win with the guys that are here.
Patrick, was there ever a time, we've talked about your contract a lot, was there ever an expectation or thought that maybe other people might do the same as far as trying to keep the whole group together and figuring out ways to do that?
I mean, I know how special it is here, and I know how special of a thing we got going. And so, I never try to stay. I stay out of contract stuff, but I know I'm lucky to be in this place, and I want to go out there and win as many championships as I can.
With Chris Oladokun winning that third quarterback job, what have you learned about him in the past year? What do you see on the practice field that if you needed him in a game that he could step up?
Yeah, he's been. I know people talk he's like a sponge. Like he's been soaking up kind of everything, as far as learning from Chad, learning from Shane last year, and then learning from Blaine now. And he's always had talent. I think he showcased that every time he's played. But being able to become an NFL quarterback is different. I had to go through that process, and so I think he's done a great job of learning. And then he showcased that in the preseason of how he's kind of evolved and taken that next step. And so I'm excited for him to continue to learn. I mean, he has a ton of talent, and hopefully he's not taking my spot, but hopefully he have a spot in the NFL somewhere at some point.
Thanks,